You're a violinist, Harry.
I'm a what?
A violinist, and a thumping good one, I'd wager. I still need a violin.
A violin? Well, you'll want Olaf's violin studio. No place better. Run along there.
Hello? Hello? I wondered when I'd be seeing you, Mr. Potter. Ah, here we are. We'll give it a play. Apparently not. Perhaps this one? No, definitely not. No matter. I wonder. Curious. Very curious. Sorry, but what's curious? I remember every violin I've ever sold, Mr. Potter, and the tree that gave the bass bar for this violin just gave one other. It's curious that you should be destined for this violin when its brother gave you that scar. And who owned that violin? We do not speak his name. The violin chooses the player, Mr. Potter. It's not always clear why, but I think it is clear that we can expect great things from you. After all, he who must not be named did great things too. Terrible things, but great things. Harry! Well, that's how it seems sometimes when people come in to buy their instrument. They go through a whole number of instruments and there's just one or two that really speak to them. Is it for everyone though? Well, there's a difference between beginning players and more advanced players. Beginner players need to make sure that everything's right players of any level need to make sure that everything's right on their instrument. But especially for beginning players, you really do need an instrument that just speaks easily, is easy to play. And quite often when you're beginning to play, you don't really know the kind of sound you're after yet. Anyway, I got rid of that treble clef. I was looking back on it before and I realized I just spoke with a treble clef on my forehead. Luckily I didn't have any customers, but my family didn't even notice. So the thing is, it's different for beginners and much more advanced players. For advanced players, it's very much that an instrument that you have that strong connection to the instrument as you play it. When it comes to online buying, I would usually recommend to buy off a violin maker or a violin shop that has some really high level violin makers working for them. You really do have to make sure that your instrument is set up by a professional maker. There are so many dodgy instruments out there that are just, that have just had their factory set up or something like that. Don't go with them, because you'll just end up either having to put in like $400 or $500 or more worth of work into the instrument to get it working well, or you end up struggling with it. It's just not worth it. What's important with a setup is you need to just make sure that everything works really well. Also, having a luthier choose instruments, they quite often make sure that everything else is right with the instrument. I always check over all of my instruments. Like if they're antique instruments, I guarantee them for quite a few years, and I check over everything beforehand and restore anything that needs restoring. It's just so important that everything works. We're going from the pegs. The pegs need to turn really smoothly. The nut needs to have the right spacing, the right curvature, and the right height. The fingerboard needs to have the right curvature, like it needs to be slightly concave from end to end. It's only about like less than a millimeter, but it's still, that needs to be there, so the strings don't buzz, and also it needs to have the right curvature this way. Then the bridge has to have the right curvature, the right string heights, and the right string spacing, and also it really needs to be engineered to suit that particular instrument. Then the tailpiece needs to work well, and of course the sound post needs to be adjusted to really bring the best out in the sound. If you're a beginner, you make sure that you deal with a reputable place and make sure that they have a luthier working, or a violin maker working on the instruments. That's so important. Often a good violin maker will actually help you make the decision to find that instrument that's right for you. A lot of players, when they're starting, and even in the first 5 years, don't really know what the best sound for them would be. So I quite often help with that by asking a number of questions and really finding out about the kind of music the player likes. I also find out a little bit about the character of the player, and try and match up the instrument to the character and the musical taste of the player. For me, it's always so rewarding to see when people find an instrument that they really connect well with, because you can just see how it just really helps them get to that next playing level. For some people, I might choose some slightly deeper, more sonorous sounding instruments, and for others more brighter, out there instruments. Everyone's different. But anyway, if you're a professional, it's definitely worth trying a bunch of instruments and seeing what, find one that you really connect with, that works well with. But also it has to have those qualities that you need. If you are, for example, playing in as a soloist in first violin or in a quartet, you need to be able to project with the instrument. So you can't just try it out in a shop. You'd be trying out the instrument in a hall as well, to make sure that it actually projects all the way to the back. That's really important, and it's a sign of a good instrument. If you're a hobby player, quite often that's not so necessary. Quite often you want to find an instrument that has maybe a sweeter sound that you can actually hear better when you're playing. A lot of instruments that have really strong projection can actually be a bit quieter under the ear, so you may not actually hear them quite as loudly when you're playing. But if you're just playing for your own enjoyment or just amongst friends, you might just want an instrument that doesn't project incredibly well. Anyway, it is important that you find an instrument that actually suits your personality. Your instrument needs to make life really easy for you, be easy to play, and it has to help you make beautiful music. Anyway, that's it for today. If you liked the video, press the like button, press the subscribe button. That way you find out every time I post a new video. And also hit that little bell down there, because when you hit the bell, you actually get a reminder. Keep making beautiful music, keep having fun playing. I love the string community. There is so much we can do and so much music we can play. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!